All right, so we're going to start over here with the next few signs here. So the first sign we're going to focus on is Leo. So we're just going to ask Spirit, Ancestors, Source Energy, what are the current themes for Leo at this time? What are the strengths and weaknesses? What are the common collective themes? What are we releasing during this new moon in Cancer tomorrow? And what are we bringing in for Leo? Okay, Knight of Wands. Okay, so this is usually about something coming in. So what's coming in feels like maybe a new perspective here. Also some rest, because what I'm getting from this, he seems like this sort of zombie cowboy that's been traveling for some time, is you've been working really, really hard, Leo. You've also, I feel I'm getting like been in the space where you're realizing that maybe some of the people in your life are aiming to control you in some way. Whether that means they are trying to control your perspective on the world, or control your actions or your behaviors for personal gain. So like ways that benefit them, ways that they can emotionally manipulate you. I feel like it sounds really weird, but something about the cowboy thing is just kind of like a draw, like a battle. So you're kind of, I want to say realizing who your enemies are, but that sounds really negative. So not enemies, but more so realizing who's around you that doesn't necessarily have your highest good in mind, and who is sort of using you for their personal benefit versus cheering for you because they want you to be successful. Let's see here. All right. What else for Leo here? Leo. Yeah, Seven of Wands again here. So again, this feels like some sort of control. And again, I think we got this on one of the other ones, the same card. It feels like this sort of like corporate boss here. So you're trying to take back the control in a situation that you might be in here. Five of Cups here too. This in particular is, this came through in one of the earlier readings as well, is usually about cutting your losses. It's like in traditional tarot, there are 5 cups, a few of them are spilled and a few of them are still standing. So maybe what we're bringing in here is sort of a perspective of gratitude, and being able to, instead of focusing on people that have done us wrong or the negative energy that's been around us that we've just kind of sort of become aware of, leaning more into the goodness that's around you, the people that are very aligned with you, the people that do have your highest good in mind, the people that do give and take with an even energy exchange, that are there to replenish you versus take from you. And also with this sort of in the graveyard grieving process, it's like not being upset with yourself for seeing something you didn't see before. That's okay. That's part of the learning process. That's how we grow and evolve on a soul level, is through the tough lessons. So I definitely do feel that Leo's going through a huge shakeup right now, and maybe you're ending a really tough cycle with relationships and people around you that have sort of not been there to benefit you. Certainly their presence is there to guide you, because mistakes help to align us and show us what still needs to be healed within us as well. But I definitely feel like you're sort of, I don't know, this sort of feels like ending a tough battle, like a tough draw, and sort of really seeing where the snakes in the grass are here. We did this one. King of Swords too. So he's just kind of sitting there. It looks like hunting. He's like, I don't know, maybe waiting for a zombie to break through his door, right? King of Swords, yeah. So the King of Swords can be a really stubborn energy, somebody that sort of calls the shots. So that's you, Leo. I don't know if you're aware of that. Leo is very strong and firm and comfortable in the spotlight, things of that nature. But another thing that I'm getting like from this card, Leo, is that you're expecting the worst in some situations. So maybe we're releasing that sort of idea that everything's going to fall apart, the rug's going to get ripped from underneath us. Don't expect the worst out of people. So just because there are people like these negative beings or energies that have been around you, that have been draining you, that doesn't mean that everyone that you meet and everybody you deal with is going to do that to you. So don't be expecting the worst. And because obviously that's what I'm getting from this. He's sort of got his guard up. He's afraid of like an attack at any time. You don't need to feel like that. You just need to get a little bit better, maybe, Leo, at trusting your intuition when your gut tells you that something is good or bad for you in particular, and putting your foot down about it. Because I don't know if you're talking to people when you're like, they're like, I don't know if that's aligned for you, or you're imagining things, or you're paranoid when you think somebody has a problem with you, or something of that nature. But Leo is very confident in oneself, so maybe leaning more into that personal authority and knowing from your own intuition and your own gut the first time versus having to find things out the hard way, if that makes sense. Okay, let's do an affirmation card for Leo. Affirmation card, Leo. Okay, so there's two that wanted to come out. My ability to receive is measured by how much I practice good feeling thoughts. Yes, so this is kind of, I would say, a message and a theme for every sign in the zodiac, and for all of us currently, is you manifest, you attract things to you based on your state of being and the thoughts and feelings that you are sort of projecting out to the universe. So if your circumstances in front of you are a little bit less than what you're hoping for, a little bit less than satisfactory, you don't need to beat yourself up over it, but understand that the reason things look the way they do around you is because of the thoughts and feelings you've been putting out. So you could be in a situation that's a troubling situation. Say it comes to like your finances, for example, and you're not understanding why your bank account is so low, why you're having such money issues. Are you constantly saying all the time to the universe, I'm broke, I don't have it, I can't spend it? Do you spend money in good faith knowing that the universe is going to replenish it back? Like knowing that every penny that you spend is going to come back to you like tenfold? Because if you're not operating from that mindset and you're operating from a poverty consciousness, the money's never going to find its way to you, if that makes sense. So that's just an example. I'm not saying that this particular spread for Leo is specifically focused on finances, but just understanding that we do cast spells with our mouths all the time by the things that we say. We're just going to constantly manifest more of it to us. So knowing you're more in control of that situation than you realize. What you need to do is feel good, and that feeling good will bring in the desired outcomes and manifestations. And the other one here, manifesting is the creative process of aligning with the energy of the universe to co-create an experience that elevates my spirit and the spirit of the world. So that's exactly what we were just talking about there. So understanding that you are a co-creator with the universe, you are in charge of your reality, your thoughts form your reality, you know, both in negative and positive aspects, but just something to work on and be mindful of. So maybe we're releasing some of that negativity, that density from your energetic field, Leo, with this new moon in Cancer tomorrow. So just be a little more focused on your thoughts and feelings and what you're sort of projecting out on a constant basis. And if you can become conscious enough of that to sort of shift it into a positive, and you can feel it getting negative, you'll have better results maybe. All right? Okay, so I just did Leo. Now we're going to do Virgo. Right around 9 minutes. Okay, so Virgo. What are the collective themes for Virgo at this time? What are the common strengths and weaknesses? What are we releasing with this new moon in Cancer tomorrow? And what are we calling in? Virgo. Too many cards. Try that again. Okay. So the first thing I heard when this card came out here was duality. So I don't want to say that we're releasing duality, but with this card, what I'm kind of getting is, I don't know, he seems, I don't know, this guy doesn't seem to me on this card like he means well. So maybe he's in a bit of the shadow. So what I'm feeling with duality for Virgo at this time is understanding that everybody has a shadow, Virgo. So maybe you have tried to hide from yours a little bit lately. Maybe there are aspects of yourself that you really tried to dismantle and get rid of and sort of cast away from you. But the thing with shadow work and the parts of us that we don't like, or the parts of us that we find shameful, or the parts of us that have the potential to do bad things versus good things, it's all duality, it's all shadow. And with that shadow work, it's integrating the shadow versus trying to remove that piece of you. So this is the visual I'm getting for that. If you've ever seen Peter Pan and you know how the shadow is like sewed to his foot. So the shadow version of yourself exists as part of you. It's part of your duality. It's not something you can ever fully cast out because it is essentially a part of your being. So when you try to sever that shadow from you, the shadows or the negative ways of thinking or acting or negative behaviors can actually get worse because it's sort of like a boomerang effect. So it's not about getting rid of the parts of yourself that you think are ugly or wrongdoing or whatever. It's not about trying to, or, you know, addictions, behaviors that you don't like about yourself. It's not about trying to get rid of that completely. It's really loving into those spaces and radically accepting yourself, Virgo. So don't be fearful of your shadow side because everybody has a shadow side. It's part of the ego. It's part of what has protected you since childhood. It's just learning that every single human being on the planet has the duality of the shadow and the light. And it also takes a shadow to make the light and vice versa. So the Hermit here. So this is kind of funny. She's sort of chilling in her living room and a bunch of zombies are breaking in. It looks like, and they might be successful, but she's just kind of chilling. So this is good. This version of the Hermit energy is about, you know, going inwards by lantern light and self-reflection and learning to know yourself better. So although the energy of those around you might be a little tense at this time, Virgo, I do strongly feel like you're sort of in a space where you're doing another deep dive into yourself and finding some real creature comforts there and doing some real soul searching. So the external stuff that's going on around you, whether it's like the media that you're digesting or the drama that goes on outside of you or in close proximity to you, it's not affecting you as much because you're really in tune with your self and your soul right now. And maybe some of that is coming from the shadow work that you're doing, the acknowledging of the shadow, because that gives up a little bit of space for some freedom and some feeling good. I think she's, she's reading here. So I feel like you're in a bit of a sacred space. That's good. It's good to have sacred practice, sacred space, and it's certainly good to be meditative and reflective. And you're doing a lot of shadow work at this time. Maybe I'll do one more here for Virgo, and then we'll do an affirmation card. That's too many. Jack doesn't want to talk to me anymore. The Star. So this is, I believe, one of the most positive cards in the deck. It's about wishes to the universe. So yeah, Virgo, you feel like you're in a pretty balanced period. So you must have done a lot of work over the past couple weeks, maybe months even, doing that shadow work, integrating that shadow, letting go of old stuff, dropping heaviness from your energetic field. And this is obviously like, it looks like it says zombie slayer metal, but it's some sort of medal of honor. And that's what I'm feeling right now from you, Virgo, is that maybe there's not always a big willingness to, how do I say this? It feels a little bit like maybe you think others have a perception about you, Virgo, that you can sometimes be arrogant because you're so organized and you're so steadfast and really committed to your goals and things of that nature. But you are of high honor. You do have a lot of wisdom because you do work very hard to keep yourself organized in those ways. You are super committed whenever you set a goal, and you're really stepping into a space where that's sort of being acknowledged. whether that's by spirit or the people around you. So this feels like it could be really connected to creative endeavors, projects, in the workplace, if you're an entrepreneur, like some achievements and some acknowledgments and some real results coming in and fruition for the stuff you've really been working on. And it's okay to be noble. Sometimes doesn't necessarily mean you have to be high and mighty when you receive acknowledgement or reward for the hard work you've been putting in. All right, so that's Leo. So let's do, it's not Leo, I'm sorry. Virgo, not Leo. I'm sorry, got mixed up there. This is what happens when you do readings like one after the other. You start to get a little spacey. Okay, so we're doing Virgo. So affirmation card for Virgo. So that's okay. I am patient knowing that whatever is of the highest good is coming to me. And so more receivership, just to continue on with some of the similar themes in this whole reading. More receivership, accepting from the universe. And it looks like, that to me looks like a lily she's giving her. And she is, the figure on this card is also pregnant as well. So I don't know, that could mean something for somebody. But it just feels like when I see lilies, I sometimes think of like rebirths and deaths. So understanding that whatever was taken away will be replenished. And specifically with this figure being pregnant, that's like new life. So whatever has died is soon to be replaced by something, and birthed, I guess, by something that is far more magical and aligned for you. And we got this one as well. My true safety lies in my capacity to align with the love of the universe. So I think it was either Cancer or Gemini that got this as well. But this is for Virgo too. So if you're feeling a little fragmented, or I don't know, feeling a little fragmented at times, again, this is that similar theme of sort of longing for home, like a home base type of energy. So you may also be in this transition phase where there's been like a metaphorical death and we're trying to get our foundation and footing with a new cycle. So just trust that that new cycle will be coming in soon. Focus on the achievements, the manifestations that are showing up for you at this time, because I do overall feel like a Virgo is in a really good place. Probably the best place we've seen so far in these reads today. All right, so 1745. Okay. 17. Oh, let's just call it 18. We're at 18 minutes. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is Libra. So for Libra, what are we bringing in with this new moon in Cancer tomorrow? What are we releasing? What are the strengths, weaknesses, collective themes at this time for Libra? Okay. Whoa. Seven of Hazards. Okay. So let's get another clarifier. Okay, Eight of Cups, yeah. So the Eight of Cups is typically about walking away here. What I'm getting from this, because there's a zombie apocalypse going on in this whole scene, right? And she's at a grocery store. So I feel like this woman in the card, she's at the grocery store. She's kind of like grabbing all her last minute needs in a panic, trying to get away from the situation. So whatever situation you're in that you need to walk away from at this time, Libra, I feel like it's overdue. I feel like you're only going to put yourself in a, excuse me, heavy energy here, in a tough position if you stick around any longer in the thing you're going back and forth from. There's something that you know you need to walk away from at this time. And I don't know if you're sort of digging your heels in and feeling like, you know, you're not sure what to do because you're waiting for like the right sign to move forward. But you're actually like in this particular card, it's dangerous that she's still in this position. And you can see there's like a zombie crawling towards her in the background there. So it's like, don't wait too long Don't wait until it's too late and you're in much heavier or worse space, like mentally and emotionally. Don't overstay in a situation because you're waiting to see if it turns around, because I feel like that ship has sailed and it's time to walk away. Because what I'm also getting here from the Seven of Hazards, and in the Zombie Tarot, I believe the hazards are the pentacles in this deck, is you can kind of see there's like this guy monitoring him, the zombie, and he's got this thing hooked up to him, and they're trying to, I don't know, like do tests or what. There's a lot going on here. However, I feel like you're just at a point in time right now where you're just fried. The situation that you're dealing with currently, that you have been pouring all your energy into, is just totally zapping your energy. It is draining you. Making yourself available to people so that they can sort of just speculate is kind of what I'm getting, which is not always a good thing. So don't be, and playing dumb too, that's kind of what I'm hearing and getting. Don't be playing dumb to serve a purpose for other people, or staying in a situation and gritting your teeth because you don't want to rock the boat. It just strongly feels like there's something that you need to walk away from at this time, which can be difficult for Libra, I understand, because Libra is the embodiment of like the Justice card in tarot. It's the scales. It's a very fair and just sign in the Zodiac. So before Libra makes a jump or a big decision, there's always like a pros and cons list, usually a judgment and an interpretation of what's fair, what's right, what's wrong, not wanting to upset anybody or do the wrong thing. And that's definitely an admirable aspect of you, Libra. But in this particular situation, whatever it is that you're dealing with, I'm just going to pull one more. Whatever situation you're getting the message to walk away from, you're overdue. You weighed all the pros and cons, you know it's time to go, and things are just going to get tougher from here if you don't walk away. Yeah, Ten of Swords. And the Ten of Swords is about anguish, burden, pain, like the heaviness of the weight of something. And you can kind of see this guy here is getting ripped apart by zombies, like they're sort of dismantling him piece by piece. So don't wait until everything has been, all of your good energy has been gutted, basically. You know what I mean? Because if you wait till this point in time till you reach this level of aggravation and upset and heaviness, you're not going to feel as good moving forward. So let me organize that for a second, because that's coming through pretty strongly. So Libra, the situation that you're in now, you can hang around, you can stay longer, you can choose not to listen to the divine guidance that's telling you to pull the plug. Either way though, the situation's going to end. It's going to come to a close whether you make the choice to step away from it now, or the universe makes that choice for you. If you choose to step away from it now, you can preserve some of your energy and feel a little better, move on with more of your resources and still feeling pretty good so that you're ready for the next step. But if you choose to stay and drag your feet and not listen to the guidance, the universe is going to come in and sort of smack you into a different direction, and you're going to be really exhausted and burnt out, and it's going to be harder for you to step into the next journey, onto the next path, if you do not choose to listen to the divine guidance. Does that make sense? And this is probably one of the more negative ones so far, but that's not where I'm trying to come from with it. It's just Spirit sort of channels it in, and it's more like the universe is always going to allow you the choice. So you can do things the hard way or the easier way. The easier way is the divine guidance, the alignment, the knowing when to make the tough calls and tough choices, even when it feels like the hardest thing. You know, that's the easier way. It's difficult, but it is the easier way. The tougher way is going to be hanging on by the last thread until you're literally shoved out the door, which causes more pain for you, for everyone involved in whatever situation it is you're looking at. So best to just listen when the divine clarity comes through, and you will know when you see that ultimate message to be like, this is it, it's time to move. All right, let's do an affirmation card for Libra. Okay. Libra. wanting more for others puts me into the energy of abundance. Yes. So typically I would say, oh, if we see this card in a spread, that means it's about not focusing on the self so much and giving back to others. But in this case, I feel like what I'm getting from this affirmation card for you, Libra, is to do the opposite. Libra is always about justice and fairness and co-creating with others and giving to others so that they can be successful as well. But I do feel like Spirit is coming in and telling you that it is time for you to focus on yourself. So not be so focused on other people so much and the reasons why they are so deserving of divine abundance, but asking you to pull back and fully focus on yourself. The other thing that I'm getting too for you, Libra, is that sometimes making excuses for other people, focusing on other people's issues, kind of gives you a get out of jail free card when it comes to looking at your own stuff. So don't be avoiding that, because I do feel like the time with this new moon in Cancer tomorrow is going to be very self-reflective for you, and Spirit is really asking for you to lean more in towards yourself versus pouring your energy into others right now. Sort of reserve for yourself a little bit more. And that's how you will draw in the abundance that you are seeking at this time. Okay, so 26. Okay, so I'm going to stop here again and then I'm going to get started with the last few. So I will see you guys in a few.